Hi, this is Andrew from GeForce UK, and I'm here with Chet from Valve at the Counter-Strike Global Offensive booth at EuroGamer Expo. Now, this is going to be the third version of Counter-Strike that you've got running simultaneously. The two already on Steam are pretty much the most played things every single week. So where does this sort of fit into the lineup?
So we consider Counter-Strike Go, or Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the best version of Counter-Strike. Right. What we've done is, Counter-Strike's been around for 12 years. It's been the top tactical shooter for those years. Over 25 million people have played it. And it's given us a lot of data to go back and look at, and things that worked and don't work. And we're using Counter-Strike Go for the platform where everything that worked is going to be in the one product.
And so how are you going to attract people who are still playing the original version over to Counter-Strike Go?
Well, I think Counter-Strike's 1.6 to Counter-Strike Source proved you can't force people to change, right? When that community, when we had Counter-Strike Source come out, it was really like an amoeba-like split of two same-size communities form instead of one becoming smaller than the other. And really, the thing you can do is make the best game you can make and let the community do what they want. And in this case, we think, as Counter-Strike players ourselves, that we would play Counter-Strike Go. That is the best version. And to that end, we're soliciting feedback from the Counter-Strike Source pros. We're soliciting feedback from the Counter-Strike 1.6 pros. We're talking to the community. We're going to have an extended beta, and really work with the community to make the best game.
So what do you have new in here, based on all these years of experience, data, things you couldn't do on the old engines, stuff like that?
Well, so a lot of it's, we're looking back and what were people doing or not doing. So we would see things like people stopped using Aztec in competitions. Oh, well, there's some problems with Aztec. So we fixed those problems to make it competitive again. We saw them doing things like having shorter round timers. So we've shrunk the round timers by default. They're doing this thing called min-model, where they would remove all the models except for one on each side so that you had an easier way to identify the enemy. And we've done that here where it's not the exact same model, but the same class of model, so that you have this easier identification.
Okay. And you've rebalanced the various weapons as well, like the AWP, things like that.
Well, so it was funny, is we had the CSS pros in, and we asked them for feedback on the weapons, and they gave us feedback on 4 weapons, and only 4 weapons. And we're like, wow, okay, this is broken, but we've rebalanced weapons, so why don't you not use the AWP, don't use the Deagle, don't use the M4A1, don't use the AK, and instead use all the other weapons and then give us the feedback. And then they realize, oh, these have been rebalanced and these are value in these weapons. So they would before do these eco rounds where they wouldn't purchase anything so they could save up for that next level of weapon they want. And now there's gradations and tactics they can use in between.
And graphically you're using the latest version of the Source engine, but you're still fairly scalable for the old systems. So if those people still holding on to Counter-Strike 1.6, they can quite easily play this on the same machine, I believe.
Well, I think a lot of, actually, there's this weird thing of a lot of people think that, 1.6 is all filled with people who don't have new machines, and that's not really true. Right. 1.6 is filled with people who want that style of gameplay.
Okay.
And so what we've done here, though, is we try to make sure that you don't get any advantage running a lower DX level. You can't. We standardize everything so that the competitive mode is the good-looking mode. It's the one you can live in and not have to turn everything down and go into some weird mode where there's no textures and it's really ugly. We want you to be able to play and have fun in this mode and be competitive and have it still look good.
And one of the big announcements is cross-platform play. And so can you play on your PC against console users?
Well, so that's the goal, is to have, we did that in Portal 2, where we had cross-platform play in co-op between PC and PS3 players. We'll see as we go through the beta, the kind of updating we're doing, what we do on the PS3 to see if that'll work or not in a competitive environment. We're not worried about matching those two groups together because that's skill, and that's skill-based matchmaking that we have built in. We'll take care of that part of it. It really is making sure that one platform doesn't hamstring the other in its ability to update.
Right. And is there anything else you really think that sort of sets us apart, that people might, if they've played previous Counter-Strikes, is there anything you think you can maybe attract them sort of back into the game with in this?
Well, it really is. The skill-based matchmaking lets us do a lot of things. So one of the problems we have with Counter-Strike Source is if we want to make it where the good players like raise the skill ceiling so the good players could be even better, we're punishing everybody who's starting out new in the game because they're not going to know about all these things that those guys know, and they're going to have a bad experience. Where in CSGO, with skill-based matchmaking, you're going to be playing with people who have the same knowledge of the game that you do, same skill as you do, and so as you learn and learn more about the game, you're going to be going up in the rank, and also then when you know about wall spamming and all these other tactics, you're going to be playing with other people who know about those as well. So it's a much better environment for you to learn the game and have an experience where you're always having a fun, competitive game.
So for people who want to try out the game, when is the beta starting for general sort of public use?
Well, so the beta will start with people who got keys at here in PAX in early October, and then we'll continue to grow it from there. Essentially, we want to be able to scale our reaction to the feedback and have it grow bigger and bigger, and eventually just be an open beta, and then that'll drive the release date.
So I presume the release date is currently when it's done, that old cliche.
Well, it's actually when the community tells us it's done. So you can blame your fellow Counter-Strike players for the delay.
Okay, thank you very much, Chet, and the game looks great. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Andrew again with GeForce UK. Stay tuned for more coverage from EuroGamer Expo.